Fellow Ambazonians, history have a way of repeating itself.
About what we ought to be doing now in the struggle. Are we wasting too much time? Shouldn't we have already taken up arms? Why we continue to issue resolutions and all the rest of it? We've had that kind of criticism several times before.
That was Simon Munzul talking about the possibility of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonian picking up arms instead of making so much resolutions after resolutions while addressing the crowd of Ambazonians in the United States of America more than a decade ago.
Any other. In other words, we do have a common oppressor. We have a common master. We must liberate ourselves from that common master. And what we do after we liberate ourselves from the common master, to sort out our own internal problems is a matter for ourselves. And it's unbelievable that anyone can stand up there and argue that because there is the likelihood of internal differences, real or potential, that's enough to blind us against the existence of the bigger problem that is facing all of us.
That was Simon Munzul talking about the internal amber to amber, internal problem, saying, why should anybody think that because we have internal problems will stop us from realizing that we have to liberate ourselves from La Republic, who is our master and oppressor. Today it could surprise a lot of people for no say Simon Munzul he began propose say arms conflict for against La Republic it could be now the final stage for we for liberate ourselves. Indeed, that time it done come. But first, make a take una back into time to look into our leaders. John Gufoncha. We know say we don't get a good leader. Endele we succeed for secede we from Nigeria. He helped for petition for we for get autonomy. He helped for petition for we for terminate the British reliance or the British mandate of our territory. He peacefully hand over power to John Gufoncha following the constitution. From John Gufoncha till today, we don't see say history they always repeat itself. Now which history go before Ambazonia? The history of the leadership of selflessness of Endele or that of John Gufoncha? Follow me. Ladies and gentlemen, my own country people them. Our leader, the last leader, elected leader for Southern Cameroon, John Gufoncha, he been an HM. That means say he been a headmaster. Headmaster at that time, as we John Gufoncha he been a person who get an HE certificate. That means say higher elementary certificate. The HE certificate he no be fit enter for university. That means say John Gufoncha he no be fit he no be get qualification way for fit even enter university at the time or this time. If John Gufoncha if want enter for university, he be need for get at least 3 O-level certificate, either Cambridge or London, and at least 2 advanced level certificates. That one go just inform you say they no be being a very sophisticated people. The plebiscite it be proposed and the United Nations it be accept them. The United Nations be put steps them in place. They also be put a date. They be put a post plebiscite conference as part of the steps for Southern Cameroon for join with La Republic. For the steps them, they be only put on the date na say before September 30th, but no date no be there for the post plebiscite conference. The post plebiscite conference, it be been at the one way the British Southern Cameroon, La Republique du Cameroon, and the United Kingdom be supposed to sit down and then hash out the constitution of the Federal Republic will be need for be created from that plebiscite. All these steps them way at the talk am so, they will be put them all for writing. It no be get any deadline, but it will be set say me then do am urgently before September 30th. I want make una think, say this type of condition, una think say somebody like Endele for fit accept this condition the way they be put am, if na he be prime minister, or even push things them till today. If we go back, carry this generation go back into time, do you think Dr. Cho Ayaba, knowing what we know about him and the way he operates, would have accepted these conditions that the United Nations would propose a conference with no date? Do you think that after the plebiscite, instead of the Prime Minister sitting down to do the hard work, he would travel to the UK and be spending time to beg the United Kingdom to instead extend the trusteeship agreement for another 5 years? Do you think Dr. Yabacho can do that? Or Endele could do that? This one, now the type of things that we need for come to terms with. What people they need for understand. Say after the United Nations plebiscite will take place, Foncha instead travel gonna for UK, begin spend over months worker from one colonial office to another. They beg British people them, say me then continue the trusteeship for another 5 years. The same person wey Naibi sign the plebiscite pack for set condition them for the plebiscite. After it happen, you go still come out again, run go for the beg for another thing, where you don't engage yourself for another thing. So Foncha was now afraid because Ahijo have overwhelmed him. He did not do his homework before getting into an accord. He had seen the La Republique voting against the plebiscite, and then now he's running to the UK to beg the UK to not to come and sit for the post plebiscite conference, but to instead extend the trusteeship agreement for another 5 years. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. We shouldn't have even gone for the Funban conference in the first place. Not only did Foncha not invite the United Kingdom, he did not even disclose to the other parties about the content of his discussion with Ahijo. My own country people them, make I give una the steps them where the United Nations if we put them in place. These steps them it will be as an agreement signed between La République du Cameroon and the Southern British Cameroon, that means say Ambazonia today. They will sign that document for Yaoundé on the 16th of December 1960 between the two governments them. It will be a binding, it will be an agreement. His Excellency Gojidinka will be in possession with that document as far as our search be concerned. If we don't get a copy from the United Nations, this one are the steps them for the itinerary for the plebiscite pack. Number 1, there will be a post-plebiscite conference between the United Kingdom, the government representative of the Southern British Cameroon, and that of La République du Cameroon. Number 2, there will be a draft federal constitution. Number 3, there will be an assembly debate in East Cameroon and West Cameroon House of Assemblies. Number 4, a referendum for the people of each state. And number 5, an act of union or agreement to be filed in the United Nations. That means they will give a that conference. Then after that conference, during that conference, they will make a draft constitution. A draft, not be saying a real constitution yet. Then they could take and go for their own parliament for La République. We could take and go for our own parliament for La République. Meaning adopt them into law. Then the people for La République, they could get a referendum for adopt them as a constitution. The people for Southern Cameroon for adopt them like a constitution. Then they will come together now, sign a union where they will create a new country before they could take that union treaty go down for United Nations. It be similar to the type of process we member them for European Union they come together. This was a document signed on the 16th of December 1960 between the Southern British Cameroon, Ambazonia, and La République du Cameroon. Foncha, Jongu, completely ignore and abandon this legal instrument. So, when the United Nations talk joining, it be in accordance with this pact. This is the meaning of joining. This never happened. La République is never joined with us. They have never forged a constitution. All attempt by Mr. Paul Biya to create one constitution have failed. The last time he tried to bring the constitution, the representative them for our side, Carson Anyangwe and Simon Munzul, they be convene the people them for Southern Cameroon. They be created the SCNC give an ultimatum we then lead for the declaration of our independence. As soon as I know very well the history. My country people them, in the beginning of this struggle, during the time we have involved myself for begin go down for talk with Harmony Bogba, how the lawyer they do their things them. There was one young man that I never really knew very well. A very short man, the smallest of them all. They say small no be sick. He named na Dr. Cho Ayaba. If he make a prediction them in those early days, I guess now as a result of a history in the struggle from SDF to the SCNC up to where we are. There is just one man who have been right on everything. Is Dr. Cho Ayaba. I have worked with all leaders of this our liberation, from the consortium to the SCACUF, till the Siseko era, the Sako era. As a fact, my face was the first activist who promoted the My Trip to Boya and Sako's agenda as an independent activist, even though I quickly fall out of with him once I realized that it was a scam. And now I find myself working for Dr. Cho Ayaba. Listen to me. Ayaba Cho have made his predictions. He has made almost what is called a budget. He has drawn a roadmap for our liberation movement. We can all see that he is following it through. He is not blinking from the beginning to the end. There are really no variances. There is really nothing out of what he has been predicting all along. Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba is probably our best and last hope for the Southern British Cameroon, Ambazonia, to be free and have independence. He is the last hope of Ambazonia. I could draw wisdom from one of our veteran, where he frequently write very wonderful articles them. He talk about this one, he call about honesty. Honesty is the best policy, he says. If we all accept these premises, we must also agree that from the beginning, when this struggle was carried out under the banner of KNDP, CPNC, KNC, throughout these intervening years, under the AAC1, AAC2, SCNC, SDF, CPDM, right up to the tail end of the SCACUF, IG1, IG2, IG3, and the rest. Only the ADF has ventured into the uncharted territory of using force to confront this challenge responsible for keeping us where we are. We may not all agree. We may never ever strike parity, but the fact speaks for themselves. We have all sorts of internet warriors and ground zero ones. But if truth be told, only Dr. Lucas Cho Ayaba and his allies can lay claim to have been on ground zero in Dadi in Manu State, as well as in the presence on social media. These basic facts ought to guide our fellow citizens who take to the social media in praise of their chosen heroes or vilify their favorite foes. While hero worship is fine, I worry about persons with half-baked ideas taking upon themselves to challenge upright citizens. The Holy Bible teaches, and we all pass through this lesson, that we should first remove the lock of wood in our eyes before struggling to take out the minute dust particles from the eyes of others. How does this apply to contemporary Ambazonia? Well, I listened to a sermon in which an ardent devotee of the faction of the IG took on Emmanuel Ngong, passing as Capo Daniel and doing all sorts of things. Is that a crime? Does it make sense to liken an impulsive, isolated kidnapping of an individual by unknown fighters to the arrest and detention of Kamwata official, subsequently to be noticed from a well-known and recognized Ambazonian governing council, asking him to comply with specific order to pay an Ambazonian liberation tax? How about the fact that they are egg of sea empowering the very Capo Daniel to act as an anti-kidnapping czar, with all the results published so far? Needless to continue down the lines, it all goes to the same. Why will a faction of Seseko Ayoktabi that will praise the action of the ADF as being for the liberation of Ambazonia and yet label the action of its arrest as being a criminal activity? You cannot eat your yams and have it. We must learn from our history, the dynamic between the leaders, the patriotic spirit, the ability of our people to accept truth, to uphold the flag, putting Ambazonia first, will mean to accept the truth about our reality and the effectiveness of those who have risen to the leadership level. If you cannot choose somebody who is effective and a structure which is reliable, then you are not putting Ambazonia first. What history will repeat itself? Will it be the alternative leadership of Endele, that is Jongo Foncha? Will it be Endele? Ambazonia can choose for itself the leadership that leads, or the delusion of those who seek to look for an alternative leader and will do everything possible to elevate those who can challenge and make sure that those that are effective and efficient remain contested until they pull us all down from a liberation line to a line of agitation, so that they can have a chance to negotiate, even if that is the only leadership they could ever have. Think about this. Think about our history. Look into our future. I will leave you with a word from the parliamentarian of the European Union, whom I met in the Basque Country, and he have just one word to tell me. You guys are lucky to have a leader like Dr. Cho Ayava. God bless you all. Goodbye.